In today's episode of Craig's Kitchen, we're going to be making that dessert that everybody loves to order when they go out to a restaurant. Today, we're going to be making cheesecake. So to make the cheesecake today, you're going to need a few simple ingredients. So for the cheesecake itself, we're going to need some soft cheese, double cream, butter, digestive biscuits, and some icing sugar. And then for our garnish for my cheesecake today, we're going to make a white chocolate and raspberry cheesecake. So we need some white chocolate and a tin of raspberries. Seeing as there's a bit going on with this one today, I shall put the recipe in the comments down below. We're going to make the base of the cheesecake first. So that we're going to need 20 grams of unsalted butter and 4 digestive biscuits. So I'm going to put the butter into the jug, into a Pyrex jug that we can pop in the microwave, and we're going to melt that. Whilst the butter's melting in the microwave, we're going to chop our biscuits. You can do these in the freezer bag and smash them with a rolling pin, but I prefer to chop them. I find that chopping them, you get little pieces of rough biscuits in there as well, instead of smashing them with a rolling pin where they all go to like a breadcrumb effect. When you actually chop them like this, it gives you a nice bit of texture in there as well, so they're not all smashed to pieces, you get little bits of biscuit in there as well. Now our butter's melted in the microwave, we add the biscuits to the butter and then give that a good stir around. Now we've got our base ready, we're ready to put it into our mould. So over here, you might recognise these rings from the ones I did the crumpets in the other day, so these are going to get used again. So onto a baking tray with some greaseproof paper underneath, a handy spoon. I use a soup spoon, as you can see it's rounded all the way, so as you stick it into the ring it gets into the edges and gives you a really nice smooth finish, whereas if you use a dessert spoon or a pointy spoon, you wouldn't be able to push it down properly. So I'm just going to pop this into the ring, a nice layer on the base of each one. And as you can see, my mix is still a little bit crumbly, it's not really fine, so it's going to give a nice texture to that biscuit base. So now just push them down into the ring. So as we have it there, you can see them in the base of the ring. So what we're going to do is pop these in the fridge now for that butter to set, and they're nice and crispy on the bottom. And now for the filling. So this is that creamy, luxurious bit that everybody loves on a cheesecake. So we're going to use some soft cheese, cream, a little bit of vanilla essence and some icing sugar in this one. You can use a hand blender to mix it together if you wish, if you've got one of these in your cupboards at home, or you can just use a whisk. I'm going to use a bit of both. So I'm going to start it off with, and get the cream and the cream cheese mixed together with the whisk, and get the icing sugar in there so it doesn't blow everywhere, and then finish it off with the hand blender to get some air in there to make it really nice and light. So I'm going to take my bowl. I'm going to take 100 grams of the cream cheese. This is a 200 gram tub, so I know it's half of that. Into the bowl. Same with the cream, so 100 millilitres of the cream. This is a 300 ml tub, so I now need a third of that. Into the bowl. Couple of drops of vanilla essence. And a good heaped spoonful of icing sugar. Maybe 1.5. So I'm going to mix that together now. It will be quite sloppy to start with. But what you want to do now is whisk that so it gets thicker. So that's enough by hand. We're going to get the electric whisk into there now. The easiest way I find of getting the mix into the rings is with a piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, you could always use a freezer bag and cut the corner off it and pipe it into the rings, or you could just use a spoon and put it in and smooth it over. I'm going to use a piping bag. I've got my mix in my piping bag now, so let's pipe it in. And there we go. Two beautiful cheesecakes. They need to go back in the fridge to rest now and to set up. and from there we'll start making the garnish. So for the garnish, I've simply got a tin of raspberries, which I'm going to strain the liquid out into a pan. These are raspberries in a light syrup, so they've got a bit of sugar in there anyway. And then I'm going to add another 40 grams of sugar into there, and I'm going to boil this on the stove and make it into a syrup to go with our dish, the presentation side of things. So it's going to be a nice sweet syrup to go with our slightly acidic cheesecake. So now all elements of our cheesecake are made, it's time to put it on the plate. So let's go. So here I have the syrup that we made from the juice from the raspberries. We have our cheesecakes. I'm going to show you a little trick here just to get the cheesecake out of the mould. So yogurt pot upside down, so your cheesecake's well and truly in the mould there. Onto the yogurt pot, give it a little push down, out it pops, onto the plate. And we're going to garnish this with a little bit of white chocolate, a strawberry fan, and some wood sorrel that I found on a walk that we went on yesterday. So white chocolate, just on a grater. The strawberry, I'm just going to cut the top off, cut it in half, and cut a few lines down, give it a little press. That gives us our strawberry fan. And then just a couple of pieces of this lovely wood sorrel just for green, adds a really nice texture and flavour to it as well. It's got a really nice lemony touch to it. And there we go. Cheesecake with white chocolate and raspberry.